Maja, John, Nad, and Juanito in my room at the Laurels Rehab Center in Asheville, North Carolina. I want to title this talk, Why Bother? Why Bother? I have a friend going to spend time with me tomorrow on her free time. And the musical question for her is, why are you bothering? Why? You're not getting paid for this. You know I'm not a sugar daddy. I don't have deep pockets. So why? And I'm realizing that's the question that's haunted me my whole life. Because I was born 9 years into my parents' marriage, very unhappy marriage, and I was the prince. I was the one who was supposed to make my mom happy. And that was my job. That was my value, was to make her happy, and I never could. Because she was unhappy, because she was in an unhappy marriage, and because she didn't know how to make herself happy. So I was a failure. So I got good at doing things to earn my place. I got really good at paying attention to women and what could help a woman feel better, and that's a nice thing to know. Toyed with being a priest, 5 years in the seminary, but when I gave up on that, really I've said often that all of my jobs have felt pastoral. It always feels like I have a flock, or they've all been healing in some way. I have been giving. I've been a giver. Even when I was doing corporate consulting, I felt like they were my flock. And actually it did help some people heal in corporations. When my Chihuahua died, little Pancho, in New Orleans, the crisis I went through was, if I don't have her to take care of, what am I worth? Why do I still have value? I had an early version of this, had been much earlier in my life. I was right after my divorce, in my early 30s. I was hiking in the mountains in Colorado, a path where almost nobody went down that trail, and saw some beautiful flowers on the trail and thought, you poor babies, you're so pretty, and nobody comes along here to appreciate you. And I had been fasting for like 30 days. I was in an altered state of consciousness. And I heard those flowers yell at me, that's your problem, bozo. We don't care about that. We're happy. We're doing our thing. You're the one who... And I had been on the road for a number of weeks and didn't have any of my usual people telling me that I was great. So I was in crisis around. That was my issue. My issue. A lot of it has been precipitated by being in this old people's home, rehab center, but old people's home, where no matter how I up-level my relationships with staff, no matter how charged I get them to be by being interesting and interested in them, and it's a job. Bottom line is, I know that it's a job. And I end up kind of preoccupied, like, how could I up-level one of these relationships to one where we continue it outside of here? Yeah, I'm obsessed by that because I want somebody to want to spend time with me, even if they're not getting paid. The irony is that when they're feeding the paraplegics in the dining hall, the good ones, like Angela, seem so there. They are having fun. They're generating, even though they're not getting much back from this person, they are generating the fun, dancing, laughing. They're good at it. It's especially ironic because one of the romances that was most satisfying in my life was Jadwiga. My mom, just 10 years older than I am now, 78, was in a nursing home much like this. And Jadwiga, who was a Polish immigrant and was working as a CNA, even though she was a nursing instructor back in Poland, Jadwiga was not focusing on the paraplegic person she was feeding. Jadwiga was focusing on me. And we did nothing but flirt with each other across the room. And I don't know how we knew, but we knew we were going to, and we ended up being quite good for each other. And I always, and my hands are shaking. Sorry, it's a tremor. It's part of the physical stuff I'm dealing with. Yeah, I did experience Jadviga as very interested in me, like just wanted to spend time with me. And that's how I felt about her. So what's unsaid? What's unsaid? Why would my friend want to spend time with me tomorrow if I'm not a sugar daddy? Is it because I'm going to be charming? It would be nice. I've specialized my whole life in giving validations and telling people why they're special, because it's my issue. It's my issue. Oh, and I started to say the period where I really had healing, where this issue went away. 3 months, El Diamante, 400-person pueblo in Veracruz State, Mexico, embedded with the Israeli family around their restaurant. They made me an honorary part of their family. And Mexican families, if you belong to a Mexican family, you belong. And I belonged there. I felt accepted, even with my limited Spanish. I knew they loved me. And at that same time, I was not caring for a dog. I didn't own a dog. There was no dog I was responsible for. But I had lots of dogs loving me, wanting to be around me, spending time sleeping in the van with me or under the van. So it was like a tsunami of, we like you, John, as you are, as you are. Now, to generate that for myself on a regular basis is so ironic, because I had this big spiritual wake-up call 5 years ago where I got it that I'm one with everything. I know that. But the personal trauma, the legacy from your life still needs to get cleaned up, and we're still cleaning it up. Yeah. There you go. Got no big finish. Oh, and there's somebody at the door. Okay.